All right, here we go. Very shadowy. Hi everyone, we'll be going live in about 5 minutes. We'll start everything, so be getting all your things together. The list is on the event page and we'll be starting soon. I'm checking my bunny watch. Isn't that awesome? Look at that bed. It makes me so happy. All right, let's chill for a while. Ooh, Eric Sietzema is watching. Hey, Eric. And kids. Hi, Cassie. Glad you and the kids are here. Hi, Mandy. Are you going to paint with us? Hello, Hadley and Nixon. Meeting schmeeting, Mandy. Who needs to go to a meeting? Don't tell Angela I said that. Ooh, thanks, Eric. Eric Sietzema is telling me that Josh, Abby, and Titus are going to paint with me today. That'll be fun. Oh, that's right, Mandy. She says those of us in online college courses have to go to meetings. Sorry about that. This whole changing the way we do everything is a crazy maker for all of us. And Kate's going to be here in a little bit and help me with monitoring comments and stuff like that. Eric asked, what are we painting? We're going to paint the picture that I have, that you're seeing on the screen, or some version of it. Gonna wait a couple more minutes and see if anybody else jumps in with us, and then we'll get started with everything. I feel like there should be music playing, but I didn't plan for that. I'm so excited about doing this, I can hardly stand it. Okay, I finally got my computer showing what we're going to be doing. Carla, yes, this is Art with Jen. Hi, Dawn Kaufman. We are about ready to paint too. All right. I am going to flip my phone around. I had it so that I could see it from away from everything. I'm going to switch it here so it's going to get crazy for just a minute. Hi. Ooh, there's a chair right here. All right. And this is not a beer I'm drinking. When you hear the, it's just some coconut water. Because I'm going to be doing a little talking for a while. All right. So, my name is Jen, and I'm the education coordinator at the Community Arts Center in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Don't touch your face, Jen. Oh, did everybody take care of washing your hands really good? And is everybody taking care of yourselves and staying inside, staying 6 feet away from people? Please go outside and enjoy nature. Oh my gosh, what an opportunity to spend time out of doors we have. So, oh, hi, Marcia. Marcia Carr is watching. So anyway, I'm the community no, I'm not the community. I'm the education coordinator at the Community Arts Center. I'm not a total idiot, but it's coming across that way. Those of you that know me know, this is real Jen. And our tagline at the Arts Center is keeping the arts alive. And that's the major goal in everything that we do. And during this time where parents are trying to have things for their kids to do, they're trying to do their work, the teachers' work, and keep their kids satisfied with activities and things to do so they don't get bored and whiny. Don't tell the kids I said that. And so we decided that having some live art classes would be a way that the Art Center can give back to the community and keep the arts alive. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be doing this painting or some semblance of it. If your painting looks nothing like this one, I'm okay with that. But I would love for parents, as your kids are working, throw some of the pictures in the comments section so that other people can see what the kids are doing and how they're doing. I just think that would be great. Today we're going to be looking at perspective and how to create distance in a painting. We're going to talk about horizon line and look at some other vocabulary words that I can't think of right now for kids to learn. Oh, color wheel. We're going to be doing color theory and mixing paint, because in the supply list that you guys got, I only listed red, yellow, blue, black, and white. So we're going to do everything on this with just those colors. Let me go over the supplies that I asked you to get. A canvas or poster board or even a cereal box, whatever you got. Now, I have a lot of canvases at my house because I start paintings and then I decide I don't really like them and I go on. Or in the case of this painting that says here on it, that I kind of painted over, it didn't do too well. A used canvas that I might as well paint over the top of it. So something to paint on. The artsy word for it is substrate. Substrate means the base that everything's going on. You're going to need a paper plate. If you're fancy pants and have a palette, then use that. Some paint brushes. I have several. A sponge. And we're going to rip it up. So be ready for that. Hi, Kate. Oh, Kate's here. Everyone say hi to Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Morgan Dugan. This is Morgan Dugan. I am here with Mason, age 9, and Carson, soon to be age 8. Welcome. So glad you're here. Hi, Elaine. How are you doing? She's a friend of mine from high school. Okay, so red, black, blue, yellow, and white. And you'll also need, probably not this big, a container of water and some kind of a rag or paper towel. I think that's everything I had on the list. So we should be good to go. Oh, Kate's here. Everybody wave at Kate. Oh, she just signed in. All right. Ooh, we're up to 18 people. There's Kate. So Kate will be giving me all of your questions and comments so that I don't have to keep going, trying to see on the screen of my phone, because that's beautiful, isn't it? All right. So I decided today to base this painting, which has nothing to do with an airplane, on this book called Flying by Donald Cruz. If you try to find this book, good luck to you, because it was published in 1989 before some of your parents were born. So it's an old one. And see how it says Ms. Jen up there? This was part of my preschool stash. And some of you older kids, if you're looking at this book saying, oh my gosh, she's going to be doing a painting on a preschool book. Yep, I am. But lucky for you, there's only about 20 words on here in this whole book. But it's about the pictures that are in the book that I want us to look at. So, Kate, would you give me that color wheel that's over there?
I sure can.
I forgot to get that off the wall.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. All right. So I'm going to read this book to you and understand it's old school. If you want to have your parents comment while I'm reading the book, have you ever ridden on an airplane? If you have, where did you go? And was it for vacation or a fun time? So, yeah, let me know. Jen Billy's here! I can't share my picture.
I would say share it to us via instant messaging.
Yeah.
Private message us, share it to us, and then we can share it to the page if you'd like.
Yes. Instant message that to us. Okay, thumbs up. Thanks.
Stella is watching and says, hello, Miss Jen.
Hi, Stella. How are ya? Let me just tell you, Stella Nugnoli, I am planning some fun camps, and I expect you to be there. It's going to be awesome. Okay, back to our book, Flying. Boarding. Let's see. Let me see if I can get it. Here we go. Kate might have to read this book because I can't see it in the screen well enough.
Taxiing the runway.
I'm so glad Kate is here.
Ready.
Now, let's look at the buildings. See, check out the size they are compared to the airplane. Typically, most buildings in a city like that would be bigger than an airplane. So because they're farther away, they look smaller. And that is due to perspective. All the words are upside down. Yeah, they're going to be backwards just because I'm using forward-facing camera. Sorry.
We got a couple people saying they've been on an airplane to Texas.
Ooh, is that the Seatsuma kids?
We got Morgan Dugan and, yeah, Eric. And then one says they went to Myrtle Beach.
All right. This one is taking off. The words aren't important on this. Words are very important, even if they're hard. Now, flying over the airport. This must be a very small airport. Look at that. Now that's kind of an L-shaped with a rectangle attached to it. These, that kind of looks like a loaf of bread, doesn't it? And the tower over here kind of looks like a pop can a little bit.
I was going to say it looks like a pepper grinder.
Ooh, pepper grinder. It's bigger on top than it is on the bottom, too. If anybody can tell me why that is, I would love to have your input on that. Why is it bigger on top than on the bottom? Oh, flying over highways. When I'm flying, if I don't get a window seat, it's bad. I just get bored and go to sleep because The window seat makes me happy because I love seeing the roads, and I like it when the cars look like little ants crawling down a path. Flying over rivers. Okay, this is the river, and unless this is Chicago on St. Patrick's Day, I have no idea why the river is green. None. I don't get it. For those of you that don't know, the river that goes through downtown in Chicago, they dye it green on St. Patrick's Day. So it's a green river. That would be a lot of food dye to turn the whole river green for like a couple hours. Anyway, there's boats and some barges. These are just kind of rectangles, aren't they? And then let's look at the buildings. You can see they're rectangular. You can see the tops of them. Why are the sides white? Anybody have any idea why the sides would be white, but the other sides are darker? Did somebody paint them two-tone, or what's that all about? You can see the docks with the mills on it. I live in Pennsylvania, and the steel mills used to be really important, but we still have mills by the river and the railroad. Perspective! Good job, Manasseh!
Shading and sun reflecting on them.
Yes.
Good answers.
Good answers. All right. Here we are flying over a city. What's that?
Somebody threw a head of cabbage at the city, and it created a crater.
A giant head of cabbage has been thrown at the city. Ah! Okay, here's the other thing I want to know. Have any of you ever flown on a prop plane? I have. One year for my birthday, a friend flew me and two other friends in a 4-seater plane to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we went out for breakfast, and then we flew home. All right, flying across the country. Now, this is the picture that made me decide the painting that we're going to do. You can see a little town. This looks like a fairgrounds. Maybe those of you that live out in the country, maybe it's a rodeo stadium. I don't know. I have no idea what that is. But over here you see fields, and you can see the roads. And there's the airplane flying over the top of them. Here's a question I have for you. This is called the horizon line. What do you see with the sky in this picture? There's no clouds, it's just blue. What do you notice about the sky?
Stella says she went to Disney World, but it was on a big plane.
Oh, yes. I rode on a big plane with a lot of people that had just been to Disney World, and it was a little crazy. All the kids were really tired. Okay. Oh, I can see the same thing going on with the sky. Let me know if you can tell me what's going with the sky. Okay, so this is flying high over mountains. Now, these are definitely Pennsylvania mountains. One of Eric's kids is saying transition of blues. That is correct. Ding, 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 ding.
Morgan says it's darker at the top.
Yes, it's darker at the top than at the horizon line. So when we get ready to do our painting, remember that you want it to be darker at the top.
What do we call that, Jen? What's the word for that?
Radiation.
There you go.
Thanks. Whew, I felt like it was a pop quiz there for a second. Okay, so I grew up in Kansas where everything is like that. But every summer we would go to Colorado to go camping in the Rocky Mountains, and we would camp right below the tree line, because there's a point in mountains that the trees won't grow if you get high above them. And so these mountains aren't tall mountains because they have trees all over the top of them. If these were Rocky Mountains, the trees would stop, and then you could just see rocks and probably snow on some of the peaks. But this plane is flying high over the top of them. One of my favorite things to do, flying into the clouds. Now, have you ever looked at clouds? Most of the time when we paint clouds, we just get white paint and splat it on there. But what do you see with these clouds? There's different colors in them, and there's shapes in them. So if you decide to put clouds in your painting, remember that. Ah, can't turn the page. Flying over the clouds. One time I flew at night, and we flew through the clouds, and there was a storm going on in the clouds, and that was a little scary, I just have to tell you. And then we went above the clouds, and you could see lightning below you. That was a little crazy and very interesting. Why don't you guys be telling Kate where everybody's from? I know where some of you are from, but I'd love to find out where all everybody is from.
Stacy says the clouds look bumpy.
They do look bumpy. All right. It's time to head down. And if you look here, the sun is setting, so we've got those bright colors. So when we do our painting, if you want to make it be a sunrise or a sunset, remember, you're going to want to put some reds and yellows in. There's the airport. Now, I had to look at this picture for quite a while to find the airport, because all I could see was all these buildings that kind of look like Rubik's cubes. But here's the airport. You can tell it's got the lights that are in straight lines. And I remembered from the first page that the airport had like two domed buildings. So, and if you look really closely, there's a silhouette of an airplane right there. So there you have it. And the last page, down, 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 and the airplane is landing. Oh, I only thought this was the last page. It's not. Down. And they're getting off the airplane. Now, not very often in airports now do you get off a plane and go walking on the tarmac to get into the airport.
Nor is your family waiting on the tarmac for you.
Yeah, this is obviously before security of after 2001. So, there you have it. That's our book. Now, as I started thinking about what we were going to paint today, I started looking for pictures that I could use to get the idea across, and I got this one, and I did it in black and white so I could change the colors to be whatever I wanted it to be. And then I painted this. Now, this picture, yours is going to turn out a lot better than this and a lot different. I did this one this morning in about 10 minutes. And yeah, so I hurried it. We're going to take a little more time today. One thing that I didn't put on the supply list that might come in handy, and parents, you might want to grab it if you have one. This is called an art dryer, a paint dryer in my house. I never use it on my hair. I only use it to speed up the painting process. And my old one died and this one's new, and you'll notice there's no paint on it yet. That maybe just a little bit right here. That won't last long. So, are we ready to get started? Let me take this painting down and put my canvas up. All right. I even have notes on this. I hope you can't read it because it was questions that I wanted to ask, but I've already asked them, so we're good. So the first thing I want you to do is, if you have a pencil nearby, if not, you can take a paintbrush. Let's just do it with a paintbrush. All right, so then that's not the first thing we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do, changing gears. I want you to get your sponge. I don't care what it looks like. This one is rounded for some reason. And I want you to dip it in your water, get it wet, and then squeeze as much water out of it as you can. It needs to be soft. All right, so see, it's not dripping at all. And then I want you to tear it in half, 2 pieces. Set one piece aside, and then just rip, because in nature, we don't have straight lines, hard lines like that in nature. It's not there. And we're going to be using this to create trees and fields. So just kind of pick it apart. I love picking at things. So it has different sized edges.
Jean Thompson is here.
Hi, Jean. I want you to do this only with stained glass. Just an FYI. I would come over and help you too. Jean is the stained glass instructor at the Art Center. Uh-oh. When I was tearing my sponge, it tore, and you know what? I think that's great. Bob Ross would say that's a happy little surprise.
Happy little accident.
Yes, accident, not surprise. So you can tear it sideways. Oh, this is very satisfying. All right. This one is going to make some darn good trees. This is one that I had already. You can see it still has a little bit of paint in it. That's what I was using to do my earlier painting. I should rinse that out a little more. Oh, now my pretty clean water is all green.
Kay says, hi, Frister.
My Frister! You know when your friend is your sister? That makes life great. So my sister and I have been Fristers for a couple decades. Kay, when was it that you came up with that term? I'd say maybe in the 80s, because we're ancient. All right. So, are we ready to paint something? Take your plate. Now, some of this, I'm getting a telephone call. Just a second. Yep.
once in a while I can hear your dog sigh from upstairs.
Yeah. Nellie's upstairs and she's mad because she can't do stairs anymore. She's too old. And I know she's right at the top of the stairs with her nose hanging off the edge, and she's whining and fussing because she can't be down here and she knows people are down here talking. Okay, I'm going to put the phone down this way. Oops. Maybe not. Just a second. Sorry, everyone. Woo!
Let's look at Jen's walls.
Okay. There we go. So, I want you to put paint on whatever you're using for a palette. And go light on the paint because you can always add more paint in. And you can't put paint back in your bottle very easily. So, there's some blue. I will tell you this, you'll probably use more blue and yellow than red, because we're going to use the blue for the sky and to make the green for the trees. Now, if you want to make fall trees, oh my gosh, this would look so cool with fall trees. All right.
Now you're here, now you have to come say hi.
Hello.
Barney's here, my husband.
You are brave. Okay, coming through here. This is...
It's quite the gauntlet, isn't it?
Sure. Say that, so.
All right. So, now I've got my paint.
Huh?
I thought you had a truck.
No.
Did you used to have a truck?
No.
Okay.
I had an ugly little car, and now I have a Jeep.
You what?
I had an ugly little car, and now I have a Jeep.
Woo! Well, that's pretty deep. Why did I think you had a truck?
Jen drives a truck now. Yes, she does. Okay. So, there's two ways that we can do this. The first thing I want you to do is just to get a little bit of blue paint. Yeah.
Oh, now we got people saying hi to Barney, and Barney already left.
Barney didn't care enough to stay. Barney doesn't usually stay when I'm doing art stuff. All right. So I want... Let me move my chair out of the way now. I'm not going to be using it for a while. Okay, we're going to make a tic-tac-toe board on our canvas so we can get to where the sweet spots are on the canvas. So with just the least little bit of paint, I'm making a tic-tac-toe board. All right? Easy peasy, guaranteesy. My paintbrush didn't even have any water on it, and I just barely tapped it into the paint. Just a teeny tiny bit on my brush. Because we want to know where these spots are. Those are the action spots. Those are the best part of the canvas. All right. Anybody have any questions? Because I want everybody to be done with this before I move on. All right. I hope everybody's done.
We'll catch them if they're not.
Yes. I'm going to pull this up just a little more. I'm sorry for this shadow here. I don't know how to make that not be there. And that just made it worse.
I think you're okay.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have the sky be just up here. And I'm going to use a sponge to paint the sky because it's big and it'll get it done really quick. And if we want to add more on it later, we can. Right now, what we're going to do is called toning the background. So if we started painting on this white surface right now, that white would want to come through. In my original painting here, if you look right here, you can see the white coming through. Now, I didn't tone this part of it on purpose so that you guys can see. This side over here, I toned with a dark greenish brownish color, so the background doesn't show through. All right, so
Morgan says she doesn't see a shadow. You're fine.
oh, good. Maybe it's just my phone. Okay, so I'm just tapping into the blue. Got quite a bit of paint on that sponge, and away we go. Now, you're going to want to, unless your family is going to frame this, you want to get that color around on the sides too. With an easel, I have trouble getting up here, but we'll get the sides and just come across. Can you hear that zippity zip sound on the canvas? That says I don't have very much paint, and that's what I want. Because I'm just getting a little bit of paint on here so that this isn't white showing through. All right. Let's live on the wild side. It sounds like a Bob Ross. Let's just do the whole thing blue. Here we go. Because that'll help me cover up my here. Who knows if we'll ever get that all of that actually covered up, but we're going to try. So just do the whole thing blue. And remember in your head where these spots are, because those are going to be important. Okay. Not only is the word here dark, but there's also texture in it. I taught an art class one time and we had to change locations, and it was at an obscure place. So I had to put a sign out, but I didn't have anything to make a sign with, so I used a canvas. So it's been a really weird time at the Art Center of changing everything that we had planned. And so I am now working on planning camps for the summer. And oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I think we're going to have a Lego camp. And, other fun, pirates and mermaids. Can't wait for that one. That'll be a good one. All right. So if the whole canvas is blue now, I don't know if on your canvas you can tell, but I can still see those 4 spots. And if what you can do with your sponge now is stick it in your water and squeeze that blue paint out. And then dry off your hand on your very clean rag. If I don't use this rag because it's too dirty, then I could use this one. Or this one. Or this one. All of my rags have been well loved. All right. So, because we didn't use very much paint, that's pretty much dry already. And that's the nice thing about toning your background is you don't have to use as much paint, and so you can get some really cool effects. All right, so the next thing we're going to want to do is tone this part. Now, where's my book? Let me look at, oh, it doesn't show on this. The closer you are, the darker the colors are. So if we look here, there's really dark shadows and dark colors. But if we look clear out here, it's really light. So the farther away things are, the lighter they are. So close is dark, far away is light. Close is big, far away is little. So we're going to tone the foreground of our painting. That's the part that's closest to us, foreground. This part back here is called the background. It's farther away, so it's the background. So let's start using your sponge. Where's my one? Oh, here we go. With our sponge and our palette, blue and yellow make green. Blue and red, purple. Yellow and red, orange. Most of you probably already know that. And you probably know, but maybe you haven't processed it. When you mix all three of the primary colors together, you get brown. So if you ever have an art teacher or a teacher say, don't mix all the colors together, that's because you're going to get brown. And you lose all of those fun colors. But we want brown for our fields. So we're going to make brown. So this is not as easy with all of this paint. But we're going to make brown on the canvas. So you're going to grab some yellow, splat it on, then turn your sponge a little bit so you don't get yellow in your blue. Grab the blue, that was scary. Splat it on, turn your sponge a little more, and splat that on. So now we've got red, yellow, and blue, which are the primary colors. Now I want you to take just a little bit of the black because we want a darker brown. And now just mix them on the canvas. And if they don't mix real good, that's okay, because nature is not all one color. Nature is a lot of different colors. So I want you to take this color, getting a little lighter as you go up, all the way up to that top line of your tic-tac-toe. Look at that nice dark green we got going on. Is anybody talking to me? I feel like I'm doing all the talking.
They're not. They're not talking. They're too busy painting.
Parents are just sitting there drinking a cup of coffee, leaving me to do all the talking on my own. So Eric Sietzma and his kids are watching this. Eric wrote a book and is in the process of writing another book, and I illustrated it. And so we've been friends a long time, and they live in Montana. They used to live in the state of Indiana. We have to say that in Pennsylvania because we have a town named Indiana that's close by where we live. So they lived in the state of Indiana when we did. And Eric and I worked together for a while. And yet we're both still alive. All right, I'm going to come around on this side. Oh, I didn't get this side. Make sure you get the sides done. Woo! That sponge is dirty. All right. Now, you can see some of the blue shining through. Ooh, especially over here. And that's okay. We're going to have some more color over that eventually. Or it could just be a shadow. So I'm going to rinse out my sponge now. Oh, this water is nasty already. You might have to change your water halfway through this painting, or even, yeah. Oh, because that's what my water looks like. Ugh. I should have gotten a whole bucket, but I didn't. All right. Okay, so I'm going to hit this with the blow dryer and go to the next step while you guys are finishing up getting all the color on, because I know I'm a pretty fast painter because I've been doing it more than 5 years. I've been painting almost 50 years. Okay. If I knew how to mute this thing, I would, but I don't. Okay, acrylic paint. This is how you can tell it's dry. If it's shiny, it's wet. If it's matte or not shiny, then it's dry. So 2 art terms. Glossy means shiny. Matte means not shiny. So if it's matte, it's dry. If it's glossy, it's still wet. Holy cow. It's 10 till 12. People, this is like, I can do this all day with you guys. If I'm going too slow and you need to hustle out because you have, you know, important places to not go, just pick up this after you get back from whatever you have to do and you can finish it up on your own. All right. I will pick up the pace a little bit. I had no idea it was that late already. This is why I end up painting until 2 o'clock in the morning, because I get involved and I forget about time. All right, next we're going to put the river in. Yes, Jean, I am only 39. I'm graying early. Jean Thompson said, 50 years, but you're only 39. Okay, now, in this picture, the trees are growing on both sides of a skinny river. Let me put this down a sec. This is the river coming right through here. This is a Midwest river where there's only trees around where there's water. Everywhere else, no trees. Life in the Midwest, you Pennsylvania people. But we're going to make a big river because we're going to make a bridge go over the top of it and important things like that. So we don't have time to do a skinny little river like that. So I'm going to make a big river. And you can make your river go wherever you want it to go. I like this horseshoe thing that's going on here. It looks like a big letter U. And so we're going to do that because I want it to look, what-oh. I just dribbled paint all over the place. And you know what?
The river is deciding where it wants to go.
Yeah, I've got a little tributary. Here's what I'm going to do about that. Oh, bye-bye. And it doesn't matter that there's still some blue there. We'll paint over it. Okay, so my river's coming in here, and then it's gonna go down, maybe a little more of a curve, and then come off over that way. Okay? Then I'm just gonna really make a big deep river. And we're doing the river before we do the trees, because the trees are going to cover up part of the river. And now if you get too much paint on here, it's going to take forever for it to dry. So be careful about how much paint you're using. Get enough so that it covers. Now, if you want your river to be a lighter color, tap into a little bit of that white. Oh dear, my green wasn't really dry. I'm getting a river that looks like the one in the book that I made fun of.
You're a little late for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Morgan says we're using paper because we don't have any canvases, but we are trying.
Okay. That's all right. So if you're using paper, try to limit your brush strokes because your paper isn't as strong as canvas. So do it in as few strokes as possible, okay? There we go. All right, now we've got a river going on. I don't like the fact that that's straight because nature doesn't do straight. So I'm going to pull that down a little bit. So the river's going to come down this way. Oh, that looks so much better. There we go. All right. Is that river wide enough, do you think? Yeah, I'm going to make it a little wider. There we go. Oh, there. This looks like a really muddy painting. But when we get the trees going on, it's going to look great. All right, I've got a bunch of sponges over here in dirty water. Let me clean them out. All right. Now we're going to do some fields. And in the Midwest, farmers do one of two things. They divide their fields into squares, or they do circles because they have to irrigate or water the crop, and they do it with a big, huge sprinkler that goes in a giant circle. I'm not going to do circles. That seems like too much work. But I am going to do some fields in here and in here that are in squares. So I'm going to take some yellow on my paintbrush, and I'm going to do some blue on my paintbrush, and then up here I'm just going to kind of mix it together a little bit so that I get green, because blue and yellow makes green. All right. So I'm not coming right up to where the water is because that blue is not dry, but I can paint in other areas while that's drying. Okay? So that's a pretty bright green there. I think I'm going to do some that's even brighter green, but I'm going to come this way. So maybe this is alfalfa and that's corn there. I don't know what crops we have growing here. But my squares are pretty big compared to the river because it's a little closer. Don't forget this, the sides and the bottom. All right, now I'm going to get some more yellow and some blue and do that mixy thing. But this time I'm going to put just a tap of black in with it so I get a dark, dark green. Oh yeah, maybe a little more yellow. By the way, did you know if you mix just yellow and black, you get olive green? All right. Then over here, and I'm not mixing these real carefully. If I got my phone right over here, you would see that you can see different colors in there. All right, now we're going to learn dry brush. So I want you to take your paintbrush and a paper towel or a rag and just punch that brush into your rag until it's nice and dry. Then I want you to get into your paint and tap it. I'm going to do some yellow so you can really see. Tap it, and then can you hear that knocking? Like I'm really punching it. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so I just have a little bit of dry paint on here. This is where, like, have you ever felt a feather, like, how light it is when it brushes against you? That's what I want you to do with your paintbrush on your canvas. Just real lightly, a whisper and a prayer. And then you get little marks on it. I'm going to bring you up real close. There, you can see this yellow right here. That's dry brushing, and that adds so much interest to your paintings if you can use that. And that's something that you can practice as you go along. All right, so let's get these fields finished up, people. Crops are waiting. Let's see, this went this way. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of the black and put some shadow in there using dry brush. I'm going to do the same right in here. Just to kind of make some shadow so when we put some trees in there, it gives them some depth. All right, now let's do some fields over here. You guys, I'm just going to paint. I showed you how to do some fields over here. So finish up the fields in your foreground. We're not working on the background yet, just the foreground. I think this is going to be a spring crop right over here. Nice and bright. Looks like pea soup up there. You guys are so quiet.
They're busy working. Apparently the parents are painting too.
Woo! That'll work.
I can only assume, because they're not talking either.
That's a pretty green. All right. Now, anytime we're around where the river is, we want to put shadows because we're going to put trees on there, so we want to give some weight.
Eric just says, talk. He's engaging.
Thank you, Eric. You're always so helpful. Making mine a little bit of brown to bring under here for the shadow for my river. Doesn't have to be real pretty because it's mostly going to be covered up, but if you don't do what's underneath, the top doesn't look good. All right, now I'm going to work on the other side of the river, and this kind of looks like the farmer has been over in this area and tilled the ground, but nothing's been planted yet. All right. Now, I'm going to take a break and dry this off. Turned my painting over so I can't see what I'm supposed to be doing.
Jean Thompson reacted to our stream with an angry face, and I think that hopefully was a mistake.
She's an angry person.
Turn that frown upside down.
Jean is one of the kindest people I know. So. Oh, okay. Now, while we're letting this dry, we're going to come up and fix the sky. What's wrong with the sky up here? It's dark from the top to the bottom. So we're going to lighten this as we get closer to this horizon line. So, have you all noticed I've only used one paintbrush so far? Just some sponges and a paintbrush. All right, so I'm going to take some blue, and if it's got a little yellow in it, that's okay. It's going to make it kind of that turquoisey color, and I'm fine. Those days that the sky's that turquoise color are magical. All right, so I'm going to get some blue paint and dip it in the white paint, and I'm going to come about halfway into my sky. Oops, did it backwards, darn it. So we're going to get that blue in there. Now take that same brush without having cleaned it off and put some white right at your horizon line. Now some of this is going to get covered up, so don't worry too much about it because we do have to get those Pennsylvania mountains in there. Just back and forth, and if you go up a little bit, that's okay. That's kind of what we're wanting. Make sure you get those sides.
Update, she's changed it to a heart.
Oh, good. She only did that because you called her out on it.
Somebody had to.
Okay. I'm running out of blue. Tell me, why did I put the lid back on these paints? Is anybody doing anything interesting or fun while we do the social distancing thing?
They all are. They're painting with Miss Jen.
Well, yeah. Hey, Jen Billy, message me and tell me how Randy's doing. Jen Billy, oh my gosh, how long have you and Randy been married? Jen Crum. Woo!
Well, to be fair, her name on Facebook is Billy Crumb.
Yes. That's the downside of everybody using their maiden name, or women using their maiden names on Facebook, because then, you know, it perpetuates the hassle for those of us that have bad memories and forget that people are married for like 15 years. All right. So now if you look at my sky, it's lighter, closer to the horizon line than it is. Now, since you've got some blue paint, and I'm hurrying this along, and if I get going too fast, comment and I'll slow down. But I have over here this kind of reddish brownish stuff, and I've got blue in my paintbrush. So that's going to give me a brownish color. I'm going to add a little bit of white onto my paintbrush because I'm going to work up here and it's lighter. The further away you go, the lighter objects are. So I'm going to put that into this wackadoo color. Oh, I think that's going to need some blue. It looks like a weird lavender. There we go. Needs a little more white. Yes, now we've got a greenish, grayish color. A little yellow in there. There we go. So now I've got this crazy color, but that's what farmland looks like from far away. You people in Pennsylvania don't know what it's like to be able to see things that are far away because you got hills in the way of everything. But when you come up over the rise of a hill, we don't have real hills out in the Midwest, of a hill, and you can see for like 20 miles ahead. There's nothing like that. That's a fabulous thing. All right, so we're going to take this color up here and make a nice light background. Oh, I need more paint.
In response to your what are people doing to keep busy, Eric says playing Xbox and they went to the mountains.
Ooh.
Those are two completely unrelated things, I hope. Unless they went to the mountains in an Xbox game.
In an Xbox game. There you have it. Okay, there we go. More paint. I don't know why my canvas keeps turning. Everything is nice and tight, but it doesn't want to stay in place. And I'm again scrubbing this canvas. If you are doing this on paper, be gentle, gentle. If you're doing it on poster board, it's, there we go. It's going to want to move a little bit. Okay, now in that crazy greenish, bluish color, I'm going to add some black as we come in a little closer. That is a color that I would tell every kid that I've ever taught art to, don't mix all those colors together. And that's what I've got. Okay. Now we need to do our hills. And we're going to do them up here. You know what? I'm just going to take some blue and kind of sketch them in. Air quotes. Maybe a little bit of white in there so I get a light. Because they're way off in the distance. So, and hills don't have to be straight. They don't have to be even. You know, there can be a little more peak. And if you see, I'm kind of wagging my paintbrush a little bit. Oh, Hadley and Nixon, I forgot to tell Barney when he was in here that you guys were on. I'm so sorry. He would have done or said something ornery if he'd known you guys were here.
Jan Sandak just joined in.
Hi, Jan. Welcome. All right. Ooh, these mountains are rockier than the others. There's a lot of gray. Let's see. We'll just kind of cover that up by making these more gray. Where did I put that gray? Here we go. All right. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but hills don't just all end at the same place. So I'm going to make another row of hills that are just a little darker than these because they're a little closer. So I'm just going to come in. And maybe there's not as many. There's smaller hills. Ooh, there we go. Come on, hill. This hill doesn't want to be seen. It's shy. All right. You can't really see them much, but that's okay because they're way far away. All right, now, now the river's a little drier. So we're going to put a road in here and have it come over the top and be a bridge. So we need to make some more brown. Does your palette look as ugly as mine does? Mine looks hideous. I see the mountains. My sister just wrote, vacation travel, I see the mountains. We used to have a contest because we grew up in Kansas. It's like living on a piece of graph paper. And we would go to Colorado every summer, and we had the contest, who sees the mountains first, because you see the mountains like 3 hours before you get to them. And it's a fun contest. When it's 100 degrees outside and you know up in those mountains it's going to be 50, it's something to go for. All right, so let's make some more brown. We'll get some yellow. And I'm just going to do it right here in this ugly spot where I've been mixing everything else. Some, what color is that? Blue. And then I'm going to grab some red. Because this is going to be a dirt road. Oh, I didn't get enough red. Add a little more red. Then I'm going to put some black in there because I want it to be a dark brown. So I've got a brownish, reddish color there. Maybe this is Oklahoma where the dirt is red. I don't know. It's what's happening. There we go. So I'm going to do the bridge first because I want to see where it ends up going so I know where the road goes to meet it. It's backwards. I'm not an engineer. Okay, so I'm going to have the bridge come right here, and it's going to kind of go up in a hump a little bit over the top of that. It probably doesn't need to go up that high, but maybe this area floods. Who knows? And then this road is going to just come off the side of the canvas and through that field. And as the road goes back this way, it's going to get skinnier. Oop, and I'll put some white in with it because it's going to get lighter. And I'm just using the side of my paintbrush. When I'm doing the wide part of the road, I'm using the wide part of my paintbrush. And when I come over here, I'm just using the side of it. And I'm not touching very hard, just a little bit. I cannot wait to see what you guys' paintings look like. Now, the bridge is going up a little bit higher, so to show that it's going up, I'm going to make it a little lighter. And I'm going to keep like going up on my tippy toes when it goes up. There you go. So now, because it's lighter, it looks like it's way above everything else. All right, so now we have our road and our bridge, but what's missing from our bridge? Do bridges just kind of whoop right over the top of the water? No, they have supports that are underneath it, and I'm sure there's a technical word that is not support, but that's all that's coming to my mind. So I'm going to make some concrete, which is kind of a gray color. And so whatever I've got in my brush, I'm just going to use a little more of it and adding some white into it. Oh, there's a nice gray color. Now I'm going to squish it off of my paintbrush and just get the very top of my paintbrush, because these supports, all I'm going to do is touch the canvas with my paintbrush. And I have to use my pinky because my hand gets shaky. So I'm going to put my pinky on my painting so that I have a stronger tap of my paintbrush. There we go. Support one. Who am I supposed to wave at? Oh, Jan. Hey Jan, if you'd like to do a video for the Art Center, a tutorial, let me know. Because visit our Got Art website. There's going to be all kinds of videos from local artists that are teaching what they know and sharing with the community while everybody's stuck at home trying to be good but really wishing that we were out doing something else. Okay, so now we've got the road. Oh dear, I've got a washout on my road. It's dripping. Got a little crazy with the paint there. All right. Is that enough? Do I need another support in there, Kate?
I feel like you do.
Maybe.
Can you make them go diagonally?
Yeah.
So they like kind of connect to one another?
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's beginning to look a little bit more like I might drive my imaginary car over that bridge.
Okay. So there's... Wait, where am I? There's the bridge. It's a bridge too far. Alrighty. Stay. All right, so now what we need to do is put some trees in. Oh no, we've got houses. Houses. Back here, there's just some little houses. If you have a little paintbrush, a little flat paintbrush, it'll make it really easy. Oh, I got paint on myself. How did that happen? Or something this size will be nice. And this is where you guys can choose whatever color house you want. But the city or the town or the farms, whatever we're going to have, are going to be out here. So what does that mean? They're going to be lighter and little. So I always think of farmhouses as being white. It's just the way it is. So I'm going to take... Ooh, there was some pink under there. I don't want a pink house. My white has been tainted. I did it again. Okay, we're going to have a yellow farmhouse. Nope, it's green. My palette is too messy. Okay, I'll just put some white clear up here. It's really going to get messy when we do trees, people. It's just, if your palette is too messy, you might have to wipe it off with a paper towel or get another plate. All right, so since these are so far away, they don't need any details whatsoever. There's a farmhouse. And, oh, there's a shed out there. Oh, the shed is gray, though. Because sheds are usually old, beat up. All right. So then you can just go, oh, here's another, the neighbor is there. There's another one there. And if you want to do a town, maybe you do several buildings of differing sizes just in a row. Right there together. And it's just giving the idea that there's a town. No details. Now, ooh, let's have another farm over here. And maybe one right in here that's a little bigger because it's a little closer. And this looks like we live in a community that says every house has to be white. But I'm just trying to speed it up. Okay, so I'll make a yellow house. There's a yellow house. There's a yellow house. Now we need to make some barns because this is farm country. So I'm just going to get the red. Barns are usually a little bigger than a house, but this one is going to be like clear over here, so it's little. And this one is back here in the hills. So I'm going to use my teeny tiny brush and do one back in the hills. Ooh, at the Art Center we also have an artist contest. So if you go to caccc.org/gotart, right?
If you just go to caccc.org, there's a button right there on the home screen that says Got Art.
Okay, and then you can submit your artwork to us, and it doesn't matter where you live, how old you are, your skill level. We just want to show a lot of different types of art. If you're a performing artist, send us a video. Don't have anything in it that shows who you are because it's going to be anonymous, and then we're going to post it on social media and people will be able to vote on their favorite. So art contest.
Yeah, that art contest, the name of it is Remote Art, and right now it's kind of thrown in with the Got Art section of the website. It may or may not move sooner rather than later, but just look for Remote Art on the website.
Okay, so back to the barns. I think this house needs a barn. It's back here though.
Spoil them a little. Give them a little bit of a longer barn.
Ooh. This person has a lot of horses. And since I can see a little more detail on that, I'm going to put a roof on that barn. And it doesn't have to be a perfect roof because we're not putting details on. I'm going to put a little black on top of this house to say that it has a roof. Ooh, that didn't go too well. Okay. All right. Voila. Now we have the road, the bridge, the river, the fields, the houses, the hills, the sky that's gradiated down. We're gradiating tone from bright colors in the foreground to lighter colors in the background. Oh, you guys are learning all kinds of art terminology here. All right, now we're ready to do some trees. And then we'll be done. Be sure you save a place right in here so you can sign your artwork. All right. I'm going to clean off part of my palette. All of this ugly color down here, I mean, there's no really ugly color, but I'm not using that color anymore. I'm going to clear that off. I'm going to leave my black because I want some darker areas and some lighter areas. I'm going to take the red off because I'm not doing fall trees and I don't want that red to get in the way of my green. And on the color wheel, colors that are across from each other don't look good together. So, well, they're pretty together, but they don't mix well. So if you see, red is across from green. Red and green, when you mix them together, you get a really ugly brown. Okay? Yellow is across from
That's orange,
purple.
but okay.
Oh, can't tell. Yellow is across from purple. Yellow and purple, when you're mixing colors together, make an odd color. Blue and orange. They look really pretty next to each other, but when they mix, ugh. So just remember that. If you want colors that mix well together, the ones that are next to each other on the color wheel, primo. The ones that are across, not so much. Color theory. You now have had your art lesson in color theory. All right. So I have some blue and some yellow, but I'm going to put a little more of those on because I want a lot of trees. If we go back to the reference picture, see all these trees we have? We're not going to put quite that many trees, but we're going to put some trees in. So I want to have enough paint that I can make a lot of trees. Yellow. I'm going to add a little more blue. What time is it?
It is almost 12:30.
Woo! Woo! Who knew? Okay. Then I'm going to get my torn up sponge, which is the tree maker sponge. Because trees are not neat like a paintbrush is. They're messy. Now, if you don't have a sponge, but you have a paintbrush that's all chippy like this, you might be able to get a decent tree out of that. But sponges make great trees. So just like we did when we toned this, we're going to kind of do the mixing on our sponge. So I want you to take some blue and some yellow. Now, if you're making fall trees, do red and yellow, and you'll get some beautiful fall trees. All right. Now, I want a bunch of trees right here, and they are going to cover up the road a little bit, and that's okay. So I'm just going to tap. And look at that. We're getting green. Oh, there's a tree hanging out over the river, too. I like that. All right. Now I'm going to put some little bushes here on this side of the river. Oh, I need some more yellow. There we go. Because over that river, if I don't put yellow in it, then it's going to mix in and just look like part of the river. Okay? So I want these to be a little darker, so I'm going to tap a little bit into my black and back into my blue. There we go. Now we've got a darker green going on. All right. Trees, trees, trees. Lots of trees. I'm going to bring some trees over here by this part of the river too. I have to be careful where I'm putting trees because I don't want to mess up farmers' fields over here. And then Nellie's upstairs whining again. She's probably getting attention but needs more. All right. See how fast those trees come in? I need some darkness in here. Alrighty. This is a little further away, but I'm going to put a little line of weeds or trees or something right over here. I'm going to put a tree here that's going to kind of block the entrance to the bridge. Part of that is because I don't really like that angle, so I'm going to use a tree to cover up something in my painting that I'm not really proud of. There we go. Now it just makes it look like, oh, there's a tree there. All right, now we need to put some trees back here in our town and in our farms. So I'm going to turn my sponge. I've been using this part of the sponge. I'm going to turn it to this littler area. So there you can see it, to this littler area, so I can make little trees. What am I going to need to do? Can I make trees that are this bright and this big? Nope. So I'm going to add a little bit of white to it and see what I end up with. Some white, some blue, some yellow. A little more white. And I'm getting a light green. I'm going to add just a tap of black in there so it grays it down a little bit, because the atmosphere that is between us and these makes things look gray. So there's going to be a little tree. Ooh. If you have to bend your sponge, that's what I'm getting ready to do, because I just made a big tree. And you just tap, tap, tap. Just little bitty taps. And I'll get the phone here in a second so you can see a close-up of what I'm doing. There's lots of trees in this town. Farms always have nice trees around them because the farmhouses didn't used to be air conditioned. So the farmers wanted trees around their house to provide shade, so it was a little cooler. There we go. Oh, this house needs some trees. Now I'm going to do a few trees that are a little closer. That one's a little too blue. All right. I'm going to wipe my hands off before I pick up my phone. Who am I fooling? It'll have paint on it. All right. So you can see the little trees around the town. We've got some shadows under these. Where am I? We've got some shadows under those trees. And there you have it. There's a painting from mostly overhead perspective, showing distance with using the foreground, background, showing gradation so that you see that the sky is darker on top than it is, and that really shows distance when you show that the sky is lighter at the horizon line. We can see that we have hills or mountains that are further away, hills that are a little closer, farm and town that are further away, and some that are a little closer. We've got our bridge, and it's bigger here than it is over here. And we've got our foreground with the bright colored fields going every which way. So you've had an art lesson with Jen. Hey, Stacy Vickroy, thanks for joining in. I'm hoping to do another one like this, so next time you'll have to get the guys to join in. And who knows, maybe I'll do one that's for the big people, to thank you all for taking care of your kids and providing fun entertainment for them. Anyway, I'm Jen, Community Arts Center, and we've been doing this painting today based on the book Flying. So I hope you've had a good time. I have had a ball. I could spend the whole afternoon with you guys. Oh my gosh. So thanks again. Have a great time and a beautiful day, and stay in and stay well. Bye.